Right.
All right, we're
Let's
going
see if it's going live
live.
yet.
It's coming up right now, and we should be live.
We are live. Hello, everybody. So unfortunately, we're having interesting technical difficulties yet again, but this time we're doing the show from Lindsay's house. So my mic should sound different. I'm on the ATR 2100. Steve is on the Samsung Meteor mic. He's not looking at the camera though. Wave at the audience, Steve.
Hi, audience.
He's running it from his MacBook Pro, not his iMac. And his secondary device is he's using my 12-inch MacBook. So things are different. So I am not able to talk on Discord because we're getting a feedback loop from Mimo Live that runs the live show back into Discord somehow. So that's okay. We started an hour and 10 minutes early getting ready. So I think we've got this down, Steve.
I think we do, yes. All right.
All right. Well,
How's
Wingman
your
is in
audio
its.
now?
It's fine because I had to hang up on Discord because of the feedback loop.
Okay.
You can keep studying that if you want to, because I'm pretty sure it's coming from Mimo.
Okay.
Somehow I'm getting repiped to me. But it's time for roll call. The wingman has called in his official absence, but Sandy is here as wingwoman. We've got. Oh, wait a minute. Kevin is green.
Kevin's in the house?
Word of. He was ready to call it in, but looks like when he found out that there was guaranteed sausage to be made tonight, he made it in. All right, and so we've got Sandy here. We have Rixie standing by in case Kevin needs some backup. Got Alan and Brett and Dave, and let's see, John and John. We got Rose. We got Richard and Rixie and wait a minute. That's oh shoot. What's your first name? Tashan. I can't remember his first name. Jamal. Thank you very much, Steve. Steve is in charge of name remembering.
Well, and my handy spreadsheet helps that.
Oh, shoot. Richard can't do YouTube and chat at the same time on an iPad. So, Richard, it can't do split screen? Any sound in Discord? No sound in Discord. Somebody tell him. All right, I better get started here. Okay. Preview. Oh, nuts. Nuts. I'm going to have to bring up another. Didn't put in what chit chat was. Okay, I'm going to have to do that separately. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start recording. Steve, can you mute yourself?
I can. Did you lose that, by the way?
I told you the control surfaces aren't working with your install of Discord on the your install of Mimo. So right. I can't do that.
Muting.
All right. Bye. Oops. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com. Okay, I'm pretty sure I stuttered that. Try that again. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, February 17th, 2019, and this is show number 719. Well, we're coming to you live from Lindsay's house right now. We've got a couple of dogs, a baby. We're coming from different laptops, different microphones. It's anarchy. It's awesome. We're having a really good time. Before I get started here, let's see. I want to tell you what came up on Chit Chat Across the Pond this week because it was incredible. But I'm going to have to flip windows here and vamp. Okay, come on. No, come on. That's the one I want. Okay. My screen's too small.
Hey, Al.
Yeah.
Have you done a draft post yet?
Yeah, it's up there.
Great.
You don't see it?
No, I hadn't gone back and relooked.
Okay. Yeah, it's been up for a couple hours. Before I get started, boy, I hate this mic. I know it's a good mic. It sounds good for other people. It sounds awful to me. Oh, I should probably save. NosillaCast, NCF. Escape. Wrong track. Well, after a hiatus that was far too long, we're joined this week on Chit Chat Across the Pond by none other than Donald Burr. Even if you don't think you'd ever want a 3D printer, I guarantee that you will enjoy hearing Donald explain the different models of 3D printers, how you can actually buy one now for far less than you would think, and how you can actually build one from a kit. In his wonderfully humorous way, he teaches us how not to do it and how to fix the mistakes that you're inevitably going to make along the way. I smiled throughout this entire conversation. It was fantastic. Donald wrote up every single thing he talks about for the show notes, so there's lots of link goodness for everything. And as always, you can find this episode under Chit Chat Across the Pond, or in our world, Chit Chat Across the Pond Light, Donald Burr on 3D printers. Oh my gosh, you guys have to go listen to that episode. Donald is, he's been gone from the show for a very long time now, but he is just awesome sauce. He is one of my favorite people.
I might have to listen to that one.
Oh, it's so fun. I'm telling you. All right. Oh, let's see. Let's do a chapter mark, shall we?
Good idea.
Okay.
A little reminder from Wingman always helps.
Guys, run off. It's weird not having the having this just that little bit farther away.
Yeah.
Makes it hard to look over and go, oh, did he remind me? There you go. Oh, come on. Copy. And how do I get... I wonder if that's going to work. No, it's not going to work. Okay. This is going to be a pain. I can't see... Nope. Can't see enough on screen at the same time. It is not going to work. So there's going to be a gap here. Let's see if I can vamp. All right, let's see if I can do this. Mute, please, Steve.
Muting.
Okay, we've got a bunch of more great interviews from CES, and I have 2 articles for you, so we better kick into gear. All right, Night Eyes. I'm going to put you up on ambiance. Can't see the bottom of the screen. All right. Better kick into gear. Well, it wouldn't be CES for me if I didn't stop. Hey, TJ's here. Hey, TJ, when did you sneak in?
He's been here for a little bit.
I'm not paying attention. All right. Oh, did you hear Dodger?
There's a black lab in the back.
Let's see. Okay, time for another. Let's see if I do that. And I do that up here. Have you guys noticed that the chapter markers are not right on cue? I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but that is not for lack of trying on my part. I am actually putting them in correctly, and they end up somehow off. There you go. All right.
Is that a little feature of what are you using to do the editing, Hindenburg?
No, they're correct.
Not my fault. Yes, Wingman, it's not your fault.
Right. Sorry. They are correct when the file leaves. It is, I believe it is a failure of the a phonic leveler. You aren't even listening to my answer. Oh, there's Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay.
And she's in the same house. Yeah. Lindsay's in the house.
We need a family play date with all 3 dogs. Do they go crazy?
Oh, is
Oh, Kyle Forbes needs a cousin. I think
literally in the house.
Nikki. Okay, let's see. Bridge. I'm gonna go straight into bridge, straight from that one. Do a little bit of a. Well, can you tell that I'm a giant fangirl of Night Eyes' stuff? Now, this wasn't the most exciting thing they've ever shown, but I got to tell you, check out Night Eyes products. There's something for everybody there. I love these guys. All right. Yes, can I move that chapter mark to there? I can. Look at that. Look at me go, girl. All right. Was this?
Ryan,
there you go. Well, can you tell that I'm a giant fangirl of Night Eyes' stuff? Now, this wasn't the most exciting thing they've ever shown, but I got to tell you, check out Night Eyes products. There's something for everybody there. I love these guys. One of the darlings of the iOS community is a company. Wait a minute. The sausage langoliris? What is that? I have never heard of that. Have you, Steve? Okay, Steve, you were talking when I was recording, and now you're not talking when
Ryan
I'm
wants
asking
to know when he's going to be interviewed.
Ryan who?
Ryan, you know, our son-in-law, kind of once removed.
Ryan nope. Who?
Tondi.
Oh.
What is that? Is that a son-in-law? I guess it's the brother of a son-in-law.
It's your daughter's husband's brother.
A son-in-law in-law? What?
What does he want to be interviewed about? Tell him I said he's got to be interesting first.
I don't know if she's listening.
Why? How did you know that he said that?
Because it was in the chat. Let me ask her in chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're already here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Loon display disconnected.
Alan, remember we don't like GIFs.
Okay. All right, it's back. Yes, please delete that. Alan?
I did.
Thank you. All right, I got to get going here. So what the interview that everybody will have just heard is bridge keyboards for the iPad. Okay, here you go. Mute, please, Steve.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, the Bridge Pro keyboards for the iPad are beautiful, and they're very good keyboards, in my opinion. Remember, the goodness of keyboards is an opinion. I think they are very good, and they do protect your iPad on one side, but they come with a huge penalty in okay. Dang it. It's a typo. Dang it. Just a second. I got to fix pipe penalty in remember to gotta remember to force that up there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, the Bridge keyboards for the iPad are absolutely beautiful. They're very good keyboards, in my opinion. Remember, I said goodness of a keyboard is an opinion, and they do protect your iPad, at least on the screen side. But they come at a huge penalty in weight. The Bridge keyboard for the 11-inch iPad Pro weighs 1.14 pounds. It doesn't sound all that heavy, but the 11-inch iPad Pro by itself is only 1.03 pounds. That means the keyboard more than doubles the weight of the 11-inch iPad. Turns out the same is true for the Bridge keyboard on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro as well, coming in at 1.5 pounds. Now, to put that in perspective, a 12.9-inch iPad Pro plus the Bridge keyboard weighs less than a 13-inch MacBook Air. Wait. Weighs more than a 12-inch. Hang on. Who corrected these notes?
I don't recall reviewing that one.
Nope. You review things anymore. Okay, let's see. Now, to put that in perspective, Does this mic sound as bad to you as it does to me? It sounds super tinny.
Yeah, it's not as good, but I don't know how much of that is compression because we've got limited bandwidth and how much is the mic. George is here.
I think it's the mic. Okay, mute please.
Muting.
Okay, sweetie, just mute. When I say mute, I'm going to start recording.
Okay, muting.
Here we go. I can still come into the next room and okay, mute. To put that into perspective, I hate not having enough screen to be able to see my recording and I misspelled keyboards. I can't, what I'm complaining about here is I can't see my recording and my notes at the same time, so I have to be able to wing it. And let's see, maybe if I do this.
Maybe I should have given you the second MacBook.
No, that wouldn't help me. Oh. I have to have it on, it has to be on this computer, so. All right, here we go. Third time's a charm. To put this in perspective, a 12.9-inch iPad Pro plus the Bridge keyboard actually weighs more than a 13-inch MacBook Air, and it's only 1/10 of a pound less than a 13-inch MacBook Pro. Yeah, that is right. I'm going to record that again. Just checking to make sure I got that right. To put this in perspective, a 12.9-inch iPad Pro plus... Try it again. To put this in perspective, a 12.9-inch iPad Pro plus the Bridge keyboard actually weighs more than a 13-inch MacBook Air, and it weighs just a 1/10 of a pound less than a 13-inch MacBook Pro. That's 2.91 pounds versus 3.02 pounds. Now, personally, I love Apple's new keyboard Folio as a better option. It weighs 0.65 pounds for the 11-inch and 0.9 pounds for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And remember, the keyboard Folio from Apple also covers the back of the iPad, giving it extra protection where the Bridge keyboard does not. But looking at it the other way around, perhaps you're not a fan of the MacBook Pro keyboards or the MacBook Air keyboards. You can get an iPad Pro with a Bridge keyboard and have what might be a much better keyboard for you. As always, I think it's best when we all have good choices. Pick what you like, but pick it with your eyes open. Okay.
You got through that one. Good job, Podfeet. George joined us.
George, which flavor?
Tulsa George. George from
the Tulsa kind.
Yes.
Because George Conant has been a regular lately.
Yeah.
Hi, George from Tulsa. All right.
Time for somehow pears came up.
Did you get a beverage, Steve?
I did. I got a beverage. This is a fancy looking one. Check this out.
What'd you get? Would you get one of your silly new beers?
Yeah. This is the Hazy New Year's IPA from a little a local brewery we just went to. It's a beautiful container. I'm just hoping I don't pour it into my keyboard here.
Or my laptop.
Oh, that's right. That too.
You've got mine too.
I could wreck two machines in one.
All right. Okay. Yep.
Lindsay wants to know if we could tell when Dodger barked. They're in the basement. Oh, they went to the basement.
Yeah, I did hear it, but
it's not
fine.
On the recording.
Okay.
Rush joined us.
Rush. Haven't seen Rush in a little while. Nice to see you. Let's see. Hands on gear. Axis gear. Why did I call it hands on with gear axis? It's axis gear. The title of that is wrong. Did you know that, Steve?
I didn't notice that. Oversight.
It's hard to get good help.
I guess I did edit that one, didn't I?
You probably changed it. It was like he was getting in trouble. Muting. Okay. All right. Here we go. Right here. Last week, you hopefully heard or saw our interview with Manu Menon from Axis about their Gear Smart Shade motorized controller. Steve was so intrigued by this device that he actually ordered one for us. Now we can give you a hands on review. The problem to be solved is that every evening, Steve goes to our vertical blinds on the front of the house and he closes them for privacy. Then in the morning, he reverses the process to allow the daylight in. It's not hard, but it's definitely tedious. They're kind of hard to pull, and you have to kneel on the couch to reach the string loop. And no matter which side you pull, you grab the wrong one first because they strung every other window in the house the opposite way. Takes a half a dozen pulls to get them to open as well. Now, we're used to devices from CES being vaporware, or at the very best, coming out years after you first see them. When I tweeted that we had ordered the Axis Gear, Raj Dut, he tweeted back to me that he had seen them at CES 2 years ago and he was curious whether they would actually deliver. Well, in just a little longer than it took him to produce the video, Steve received his Axis Gear on Tuesday. Inside the Axis gearbox was a getting started label that had a QR code begging to be scanned to get the Gear app. Sadly, they printed it in wee tiny letters, or not letters, they printed it wee tiny, and the ink bled so that it was unrecognizable by our iPhone cameras. Not a huge deal. It was an easy trip to the App Store to get the Gear app, but I like to complain about things. Anyway, I have to say the Gear app is really good. They walk you through step by step what to do, asking you questions along the way, and then tailoring the installation instructions depending on your answers. For example, at one point, it needs to know if you're going to be adhering the controller to metal or wallboard, and instructions are different depending on the path you choose. The only thing not to like about the app was that if you have to step away to do something and your phone goes to sleep, the app loses its place and you have to start over. Now, it's not a huge deal because you can flip through the screens really, really quickly. It's just like tap, 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 tap. It's not that big of a deal. In the package, there are a few parts. The main controller is a rectangular box about 6 inches long, maybe like 2 inches square. It comes with a mounting bracket, a wall charger with what looks like a MagSafe connector, and a solar panel with the same connector. Sadly, our front window faces north, and being in the northern hemisphere, we don't get any direct sun in that window at all. It's a pity, really. So we can't use the solar charger. Now, it's important to note that Gear works with any shade that has a loop, either a chain or a cord, as the mechanism to open and close your blinds. The Gear controller has a plastic gear around which you feed the loop of your shade's pull, chain, or cord, and then the controller slides into the mounting bracket. But before you can do this, you have to remove your old equipment. This turned out to be pretty much the hardest part. It was much more physically challenging than we'd expected. The old equipment in our case is simply a 4-inch piece of plastic with a spring at the bottom that's screwed into the sidewall to put tension on the cord. And then at the top, it has an embedded roller through which the cord is fed. The hard part wasn't removing the single screw that held the spring in place. It was getting the cord out of the little loop thing without simply breaking the plastic piece with the roller. We weren't 100% certain that the new device would work. We didn't want to have to go hunt down for some replacement part for this blinds, this set of blinds, I should say. Armed with a pair of pliers held by Steve to try to gently squeeze the plastic bracket open enough, and a small screwdriver precisely placed by his trusty sidekick Allison, we were able to pop the wheel out without any damage. Now, you have two options on how to attach the mounting bracket to the wall, with a couple of screws or with double back tape. The tricky bit is getting the placement correct. You have to have at least 3 inches from any interference below the module, or below the mounting bracket, I should say, so you have room to mount the controller. But in the other direction, you have to have it low enough that you get enough tension on the pull cord to allow it to grab and move the cord. They give you a nice template to hold up to make sure you'll be able to get it all in place correctly, and the instructions in the app are really, really clear. After Steve got it installed, he excitedly followed the instructions to touch and hold the on button to turn on the gear, but it didn't turn on. He tried everything he could think of to get it to come on, but there was no joy. We looked online at the troubleshooting section and the Axis web pages, and it said that you had to be sure the back panel was on the unit or it wouldn't turn on. Well, the plastic gear looking thing we figured had to be exposed or you wouldn't be able to put the cord around it. So we figured the bottom half being covered was what they meant about having a back panel on it. We were really sad that it didn't work. Steve went online and he found that they have a way to schedule a phone call for support through their online system. How cool is that? I mean, schedule a phone call. But the really cool part is the person actually called at the time of the appointment Steve requested. That never happens, right? Anyway, they didn't even mock him when they explained that the back cover that goes over the gear had to be on. And sure enough, it was still in the box. Oh, well, it gave Steve a chance to exercise the support, folks, just for you so you would know they're really good. Well, the lovely support person, Christoph, stayed with Steve throughout the rest of the setup, which was actually the fun part. I missed it. When the gear first comes up, an LED strip lights up in red at the bottom and the top to indicate that it still needs to learn where fully opened and closed positions are. On the end of the controller, there's a set button. You hit that button when you've got the blinds fully opened, and you'll be rewarded with a green light on the top of the LED strip. Repeat the procedure to set the fully closed position, and the entire LED strip will flash green to let you know the gear's configuration is complete and your motorized window shades are ready for use. We have vertical louvered blinds, and when they're drawn closed and louvered closed, they're impossible to draw open even by hand. You can have them partially louvered closed and draw them, so that's how we have them set to ensure that we don't burn out the motor on the gear. Unfortunately, gear does not support louvering the blinds, just opening and closing them. Steve, I'm going to stop for a second. You forgot the F in flash green
F in
on that.
flash green.
Yeah, it says lash green. I know you edited that part, so I'm pretty sure
Okay,
that.
do you want me to go in and
Yeah,
maybe-
I won't save from here.
Okay. Roughly how far down are you? Give me a reference.
I'm right above the picture you had me in bed where it says "and now the app."
Okay.
It's two paragraphs above that. Just look for the word lash.
Got it.
Hopefully, it's just opening and closing them. I was afraid I would forget. Okay, keeping going here. Oh, your Ecobee thermostat wasn't behaving from HomeKit. Interesting. We should chat, Sandy. I don't think my Ecobee has any idea what temperature it is in the house. We are constantly, just lately, having to turn the temperature up and then down again. All right. Once your gear is set up and calibrated, controlling the blinds is quite nice. The gear has an X at the top that means stop, and you can tap along a vertical line to set how open or closed you want the shades. It's a linear thing. A continuous thing, I should say. You can tap anywhere along it. As I mentioned earlier, access to our blinds pull cord is a bit difficult as you have to kneel on the couch and reach behind it to get to the controller. So the app is a way easier way to get to it for us. Their Gear app is snappy, fluid, and very functional. The screens are well laid out, so it's obvious what should happen on each screen. You see a list of your shades on the main screen, and a simple tap shows you the controller on screen, allowing you to tap on one of the 4 open close set points or to any spot along the graphic slide controller. You can set up schedules for when you want the shades to change and by how much. They offer some templates that are pretty useful, like a weekend schedule that's different from your weekday schedule, so you can sleep in. Alternatively, you can create your own schedule from scratch. This scheduling feature is exactly what Steve wanted. Such a simple thing, but so delightful to have it happen automatically every morning and every evening. One of the requirements for a good automation tool is that more than one person be able to control the device through their phone. After Steve had all the fun of setting up the gear on his phone, I installed the Axis app on my phone. I tapped the plus button to add a device. It asked me to press the pair button on the controller, and then it showed me a list of nearby Bluetooth devices. We have a lot. Anyway, one of the devices was called Living Room Blinds. I tapped it and it said, "Oh, yeah, somebody's already set up these shades. Would you like to add it to your dashboard?" I said yes, and I was done. I do not believe I've ever seen an easier addition of a smart home device to a second user. Also, one other thing is I can't see the schedule he set up. And I'm curious, could I set up another schedule and mess it all up? I'm half tempted to write one that conflicts with his so the poor thing goes bananas. Well, Gear works over Bluetooth, as I mentioned, and it supports Zigbee. So with a compatible hub, you can control Gear over the internet. It's not HomeKit compatible, which is a disappointment, but it does solve the main problem we had. Gear does have a group function in beta, so I think that means if you have several Axis gears, you can have them perform their magic in unison. The bottom line is that the installation of the Gear Axis motorized shade controller is relatively easy and works with any type of shade that has a loop for a pull cord or chain. The setup in the app is delightful and easy if you remember to put the backplate on the device. Human support from Axis is outstanding. Steve is really happy that he doesn't have to open and close the darn blinds twice every single day. There's only one significant downside. It's fairly significant. The Axis gear is $250. Well, maybe these kinds of devices are going to come down in price over time, and then it can be a more affordable solution to a problem you might have. I swear I had a line about that at the end that I just added, Steve.
Which one?
And when I said it was $250, I could have sworn I said something like,
Ooh,
it's a good thing, or maybe these things will become cheaper over time.
your lighting just changed.
Yeah, the Luna display is being flaky. It's
Okay.
turning off and on.
Frank
right.
joined us.
Wheels, I love your new avatar. It's awesome.
Oh, I just noticed.
I noticed it over in Slack.
That's cool.
Is anybody here not a member of our Slack? Actually, Lindsay, I don't think you're in our Slack yet.
She's probably not. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if she's listening or just in chat. Is it time for a Forbes appearance?
Is it?
Is it a good time?
I think it's a good time. I am going to...
All right. Forbes warning.
Forbes warning.
John's not a slacker yet.
Who isn't? George?
John. That's a nut.
Uh-oh.
What?
I hear rumbling.
This-
I hear the rumbling of little feet.
Here we come. Walking down the street.
Oh no, that's Dodger.
That's a lot of little feet.
Yeah, it was a fair amount of broom, broom, broom. I'm gonna keep working while I'm at it. Square Off is next. It's gonna be a long show. I can hear Dodger. Oh, I hope they don't trip over the Ethernet cable that's in between.
Right. Trip hazard.
Where's Tesla? Tesla's here too. We can
got
bring them all in.
everybody here.
Problem you might
here
have.
They come. Here they come.
We're not in yet. Hey, Forbes! Oh, he's not wearing pants. Is that okay?
This is a clean show.
Come here. Come here. Do you want to wear the headphones?
Yeah.
Okay. You can talk to Pip here.
Hi, Forbes.
You gotta come up here.
How you doing, Forbio?
This
Can you
year.
hear me okay?
Talk into the microphone.
All right, give me your best podcasting voice.
Say hi to Pip here.
Hi, baby.
How you
Do you
doing?
see him over here? Look over here. See him?
Yeah.
Covering your whole face.
Hey, Forbes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we can't see him. There's more Mike than Forbes.
Can you hear him?
Hello.
Hello. So I speak
There we
Forbes
go.
now after this weekend.
Now I'm covering you. Lindsay.
He's very conversant.
Are you adorable enough?
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
No, I'm out.
You're done?
He's
I'm
out.
out. Okay. Wait,
I'm
wait,
out.
Oh, hang on. You're caught on my... Oh, good job, buddy. Almost. Oh,
Wow.
hold it.
2 sentences and he's out.
You did it. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks. Nice to see you, Lindsay. All right.
I'm out.
I'm out.
At least he's honest.
I'm out. Was he,
Oh. Hey.
Oh!
A second
He's coming in
appearance.
from the other side.
Another appearance.
Oh, hi, Forbes. He needs to be higher.
Or this could
Hi,
be lower.
buddy. Hi,
Speaking to the mic.
Forbes.
Just say hi.
He needs the headphones, Steve. He can't hear.
Okay, hold on. These are going to be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He likes headphones.
Can you hear
Can
now?
you hear Forbes? Hi, buddy. Hi. Somebody screenshot this, please. Mwah. Do you want a dinosaur ball? I have
Yeah.
one in my mouth. Oh, here you go. I'll give it to you. Okay, you take it.
Up here.
Good. What are you going to do with it? Throw it to mommy. Oh, there's Kevin.
You know, I can't hear anything.
I know.
Okay, we should let them get back
All
to
right.
the show.
Bye-bye.
Nacho.
What?
Oh, you got to throw it? Okay, throw it. Throw the ball.
There you go.
Okay, get it. Throw it. Oh, threw the dinosaur ball right at you.
Careful with his headphones.
Bye-bye.
Say
Bye-
bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Forbes.
Bye-bye. Okay.
All right. John says it's hard to decide which is cuter, Forbes or Kevin's picture. Oh, you got
There you
it.
go. Good
Oh,
job.
thank you, Rush.
Thanks, Rush.
Steve, save that picture.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Forbes is taking over NosillaCast.
All right. Uh-oh, can you hear him yelling now? I think he's mad. He wants to stay on air.
By the way,
That is,
I don't think this is a
What?
big deal, but when I go to your screen, I'll put it full screen here. It's not
Yeah.
live. It's frozen.
well, okay. So
Right.
it froze.
Not much we can do about it.
Yeah, that's actually a bug in Mimo Live.
Yeah.
So remember, I was changing the microphone. That's probably what did it.
Oh, right.
Without you, you're restarting the Mimo call.
Yep, that's probably it.
All right. I wonder if that's why I'm getting feedback, because you never restarted the call.
Oh, that might be it.
Might have had something to do with it. All right. It's a bug. They know about it. We're ready to go. All right. Mute, Steve.
Muting. Whoop.
All right. Here we go. I talk a lot about two great ways to help support the show: using the links I provide to products on Amazon and signing up for Patreon to give recurring financial support. But there's actually a third way. You could go to podfeed.com/PayPal like Paul Nealon did and give a donation of any amount via PayPal. You know, I love doing the show, and I would probably fund the cost of doing it even if you didn't help out. But Paul showed me that he gets value from the show that's worthy of his financial support. Be cool like Paul and use this method. Oh, too many mouth typos. But Paul showed me that he gets value from the show that's worthy of his financial support. Be cool like Paul and use the method that's right for you to try and help the show. Not try and help the show. But Paul showed me that he gets value from the show and that's worthy of his financial support. Be cool like Paul and use the method that's right for you to help support the show. Didn't help out, but Paul showed me that he gets value from the show. Look how tinny the audio sounds to me. I know this is a good mic, and it's the one Bart comes in on all the time, but Paul showed me. There we go. Nice. Okay, time for a chapter marker, I think. Who's next? Go Solar.
This was pretty cool.
Yeah, did I write to them and ask them for a free one? I don't think I did yet.
No, but tell them. I don't know if you mentioned it, but can you tell them the story? Maybe afterwards. We'll tell them the story about how he discovered this.
Well, you can tell them.
Ah, you're much better at it.
So these are this is something we want to get for Lindsay and Nolan because they're all solar and stuff. So these are basically like a tube that has coming out of it two flanges that are solar panels, and it cooks food in these tubes. And the way the guy discovered it is he was working installing solar panels. That was his job. And actually, he was deinstalling some, I think, because they were changing them out or whatever. And the ones they had were these tubes. And he thought, you know what? I'm going to cook my lunch while I'm here. And he shoved his lunch inside this tube with these solar panels are on it, and it cooked it. And he thought, hey, I could make this into a product. So they've had these solar cookers for a while. They're like a small one where you could cook like some vegetables, shove a steak in the end. And he said it was like 20 minutes to cook a steak, which sounds unbelievable, but hey, I'll try it. But then they've come out with a big one that's for a backyard barbecue, and you can also plug it into power if you need to, because people said, well, I want to use it, but I can't always use it if the sun isn't out. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Go solar.
By the way, George says your sound is good on the receiving end.
Oh, good. All right. I want to make sure this was Go Solar.
Amazon.
Awesome. I'll make sure to get our Amazon affiliate link right here. I talk a lot about two great. Did you use my Amazon affiliate link there
Where?
on the Go Solar site? On the Go Solar video?
I believe I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the comments, not the video, because it's too hard to type.
I know, but
Yes,
not
in
in
the
the
comments.
description.
Yeah.
I swear this keeps getting brighter. I keep turning the
Yeah, it
brightness
is.
down,
It is.
and I keep fixing it, and it keeps going back. I wonder if I have something on auto.
Yeah, I think you do.
It's like the gain keeps going up.
Auto gain.
There, I just turned it down. Now you
Now it's
tell me
pretty
whether
dark.
it comes back. Yeah, but it'll come back.
All right. Oh,
Okay. What?
Frank wants to know how the new eyes are holding up. New eye, actually.
The new eye is pretty freaking awesome. Now, there's one really big downside. I have to wear makeup again. So I haven't worn makeup in like the last, 4 or 5 years because I was wearing glasses, and my glasses cover these dark circles up. But I have a bunch of spackle in there to keep them not looking so bad. Yeah, I do. I think of spackle every time, just spread
Is
it,
that your
picking it up.
10 gauge spackle or your 12 gauge spackle?
Yeah. I bought new spackle. You have to throw all your eye makeup away. All of it. Let's see how this goes. To help support the show. What? Wait a minute. Did I? Hang on. Hang on. That was supposed to be square off. Did I do the right audio track there? Somehow I think I have Go Solar twice.
No, you just did an ad.
No, but the one right before it, that one.
No, you didn't do Go Solar. You did. Did you do square off?
Hang on. No, I did. It was square off. Okay. That guy talking about the.
Oh, that was freaky. Like that chessboard.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the thing that we talked about was what he's talking about was there's a chessboard where you can play chess with somebody, and you make a move on the chessboard, and when they make the move on their end, physically moving the chess pieces, they physically move where you are,
and vice versa.
And then Dodger would come over and eat the pieces anyway. You'd have to get like one of those cake things, except a square one to cover it up.
Mm-hmm. Chessboard cover.
I bet they make those. Actually, no. You do have to touch it to move it. All right. So that was Go Solar. So next is, I was wrong. I was wrong about Save As. This is a fun story. I think. Of course, I think everything I say is interesting. Right?
Wait, did you insert Go Solar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, did you? But you didn't talk about it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Why would I talk about it?
I don't.
Because I do
normally
sometimes.
You say something at the beginning or the end.
Yeah, I go back and forth if I'm feeling inspired. I don't remember whether the guy talked in video. Did he talk about how he thought of this?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
No.
How did you remember it?
Not sure.
See, I don't want to take a chance.
I'm going to say 55% sure. Roughly.
So you want me to repeat a story on that kind of thing?
No, just for the chat room, the audio.
I did that already.
No, I don't repeat it twice, just once. That's good.
But you're telling me I should have said something about Go Solar, and I just did. Okay, mute, and don't say mute. Oh, drive me out of my mind. Here we go. Enjoy. Okay, start out with a Mess up. Here we go. In July 2011, Apple introduced its latest operating system, Lion. While there were many major advancements, Apple did one thing that made many of us very angry. They removed the Save As option from all the applications. It was a terrible thing. I was amongst the very many who protested such silliness. There's so many great reasons to have Save As. Let's say you have a presentation you created for MacStock and you want to modify it to talk at Dave Ginsburg Chicago Users Group. Open the presentation, choose Save As, give it a new name, save it to a new location, and then edit without destroying the original. Without Save As, you can use File Duplicate. The problem I have with this approach is that by default, it saves to the original location. Now you have to know to hit a teeny tiny little downward chevron, which opens a dialog where you can change the name, add some tags, and choose where to save. But for some idiotic reason, they chose not to give you a standard Finder dialog for save. I don't know why they did this. The option to change location is a pull down, which shows your iCloud library folders at the top, then your favorites, and I have a lot of favorites, then recent places, and only after that it says other in teeny little letters, which finally, if you hit that, it gives you a standard Finder save dialog box. In addition to being an awful lot of extra scrolling and digging to get to the save location, I truly hate that little chevron. First of all, it's really, really slow. So I click it and nothing happens. So I click it again, right as it finally opens, which means my clicking turned it off again and I have to hit it again. It's been 8 years since Apple made this change and I still have to click it 3 times every single time. I should mention that with Mount Lion, Apple gave us back Save As, but in a passive aggressive way. They put it under a secret menu only available if you hold down the Option key before you select File from the menu bar. Like hostages with the Stockholm Syndrome, we praised Apple for letting us have it back. Well, I remember arguing with Bart about how stupid this whole change was because he saw the virtues of what Apple had created. They called it their modern document model. You see, the removal of Save As was a byproduct of their autosave feature. The idea is that we're too stupid to save our documents, even though we've been saving them since the dawn of computing. With Lion, you don't have to worry your pretty little head about it. The second purpose, the second purpose, I should say, was versioning. And this is where Bart was a big fan. The idea is that if you make a mistake, you can dial back to a previous version and receive that past state. While this sounds swell, in the 8 years since it arrived, I haven't once been able to retrieve the document state that I desired. I know how to see versions, but when I go there to look, it never goes back as far as I need, and most of the time, there's no versions from which to choose. I know I'm probably doing it wrong. I'm holding it wrong, right? But I haven't ever spent enough time to figure out why. Instead, I've just given up trying. I don't ever use it. Bart seemed to find the versioning useful and understood why people liked it and needed it, so we eventually stopped arguing about it. But it never stopped bugging me. Now, you might be wondering why I took you on a trip down memory lane that's pushing a decade old. Perhaps I should now describe the problem to be solved. Well, I finally saw the first benefit of the autosave in the modern document model. If I hadn't mentioned what I'd experienced to Bart, though, I never would have known that that was the cause of my great joy. As you know, Bart has been teaching us programming in the podcast Programming by Stealth. Programming is a great opportunity to spend a lot of time picking out a text editor. What's more fun than picking tools? I'm not an advanced programmer. In fact, I'd be more appropriately described as still being on the bunny slope of programming, but I do understand some of the things you want to look for in a text editor. For example, syntax highlighting is key. Let's say you're declaring a constant in JavaScript. If you correctly type const, C-O-N-S-T, it should change color. If you mistype it and instead write C-O-N-T-S, it would not change color. This gives you an immediate visual indication that you've made an error. This syntax highlighting needs to adapt to the language in which you're writing. There's another feature I really like, and that's the ability to run the program you're writing inside the text editor. It's much more efficient than keeping a browser window open if you're editing for the web, say, and having to refresh that window after you save in your text editor. It's pretty darn handy if your text editor automatically includes a closing bracket when you put in an opening bracket. The bane of our existence as programmers is trying to hunt down where we've forgotten to close a bracket or maybe closed it twice. Some text editors will give you yet another visual indicator of when you've closed your brackets. The way they do this is when you're next to or, say, crossing over a bracket, they highlight the matching bracket in some way. This is another critical feature. If your text editor automatically indents when appropriate, that can be another visual indicator of where you've opened and closed things. You can't count on it because it turns out the user can override the correct indenting, like I do all the time, and mess it up, but it is a good start. Finally, in my short list of requirements is the concept of code folding. Let's say you've got something you need to see on line 50, but you also want to be able to check it against something on line 387. If you could fold up all of the functions in between these two lines, you'd be able to see both at the same time. Folding is also another way to see whether you've closed your brackets properly. If a section of code doesn't fold as you'd expect, you'd know you messed up one of those pesky brackets. I've been on a quest to find one code editor that does all of these things, but I haven't found one. CodeRunner from CodeRunnerApp.com for $15 or via setup does almost everything I need. It has two places where it falls short, though. You can run your cursor across a bracket and it'll highlight the matching one, but if the matching one is off screen, you can't see it. I have not found a way to see both at the same time. CodeRunner also doesn't do code folding. It does run your code, which is swell, so you can see it running right there. That's really neat, but it can't do the other two things. Well, Atom is another terrific text editor, which is open source and is available for free from atom.io. It does all of the basics like syntax highlighting and putting in matching brackets, but it doesn't run your code like CodeRunner does. However, it beats CodeRunner in two ways. First, it has code folding, and second, when you put your cursor next to a bracket, it puts a line under the bracket and the matching bracket. If the matching bracket is off screen, you can scroll until you find it, and it stays with that little underline. I've been caught between these two editors for a long time, switching back and forth depending on what I need to do. The other day, I discovered something glorious. I happened to open both code editors at the same time with the same document open. I prefer editing in CodeRunner, but I needed to do some code folding and bracket matching over in Atom. I started typing in CodeRunner and I glanced over at Atom, and guess what? The changes I put in CodeRunner were reflected over in Atom. It was positively magic. I didn't know how the developers on the Atom project had accomplished such sorcery, but I was delighted. I mentioned this to Bart during Programming by Stealth and explained that Atom hadn't done any magic at all. What the developers had done, and CodeRunner's developers had done as well, was actually use the APIs, the application program interfaces from Apple, to take advantage of the modern document model introduced way back in Lion. He explained, without once saying I told you so, that when I was editing in CodeRunner, it was auto-saving, then in Atom, it was auto-updating to the saved version. This is magical, as I said, and I finally must concede that after 8 years, the loss of save as was worth it, as long as I can option save file as at least. Oh, dang it. I almost made it.
How close were you? One sentence?
Yeah, but I gotta 1 second here. That after 8 years, this is magical. This is magical, as I said, and I finally must concede after 8 years that the loss of save as was worth it. As long as I can option file save as, of course. There we go.
Mark joined us.
Mark Poley?
Mark Poley.
Mark,
Did you know
Mark,
his granddaughter's name was Kennedy?
No, that's a cool name.
His granddaughter is Kennedy. Our grandson is Forbes.
Ooh.
We got some big names.
Might make a nice little matchup there, huh?
Yeah, right.
We'll be worth billions. They can have a kid named Bloomberg or something.
Yeah.
All right, we got another interview.
Oh, wow. We're just cooking.
Last one. IO Gear. Yep.
This was all over the map, this one. A lot of
what,
stuff.
IO Gear?
Oh, he had a ton of products.
Yeah, you know, did you see anything? They want to give me something, but they said, hey, what do you want? And can't think of anything.
What that video extender sounded kind of cool. HDMI
Yeah, do we need
extender,
something like that though?
wireless. Well, if you have an installation where you don't want wires showing,
Do we have that need though?
yeah, we're all wired up now, aren't we?
No, that's a problem. I mean, everything looked really cool. Somebody made us go see that. Who was it? Was that Joe Duganzik? Good people giving us assignments.
I think it was Joe.
Dave Ads, of course. I'm a big fan. All right, here we go. That's a pretty good length show. That's about perfect. 46 minutes. All right, mute Steve. Mute Steve. Thank you. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at podfeet. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. Want to become a Patreon? Go to podfeet.com/Patreon. Want to join our Slack group? It's awesome in there. Podfeet.com/Slack. Want to join our Facebook group? Podfeet.com/Facebook. Want to join the live chat during the live show? Podfeet.com/chat on Discord. Want to find those Amazon affiliate links? Podfeet.com/Amazon. If you want to donate, you heard about that earlier. Podfeet.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show and have experiences like watching us have all kinds of audio problems and video problems and have my grandson come in and talk on the open mic, you can come see that at podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways like Forbes. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Went off script a little there.
Is that a wrap?
That is a wrap. So
before I have to show everyone my advanced audio setup.
You have to. Okay. Oh.
This takes out the vibrations. And it comes in handy when in need.
Oh, you just set it on top.
Yeah.
I thought you know what Dave Hamilton does is he folds the legs up and shoves it down inside.
Yeah, this won't fold anymore. I guess I could. Well,
oh, that's right. That one's that. Yeah, that one.
That's as small as it goes. Right up Kevin's line of business.
You still make a lot of racket when you type, though. What's that?
Right up Kevin's line of business. Nice.
Yes.
George. Don't hear the outro music. She puts it in later.
I'm putting it in now. All right.
So many jokes. Yeah, so many jokes.
And stay subscribed.
Hamburgers. Ooh, sounds good.
Who's having hamburgers?
We are. Apparently.
Are we?
Lindsay asked hamburgers.
I'm up for hamburgers. All right. How many chapters should I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, it scrolled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's solar cookers. 6, 7. Sounds like enough. So there were
8 if you include
5 things plus the 2 of mine. 7. Yeah, I don't usually bookmark chit chat because it's right out of the gate, you know?
Okay. Yeah, 7 is what I got.
All right, export. All right, guys, I think look at that. Look at that. Look at that timing. 5:59.
On the nose.
All right, it is time for us to go because we have dinner plans. We have people downstairs, people to play pool with. We should have a good time. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Goodbye, Rose. Bye-bye. Say bye, Steve.
Bye-bye, Steve.
Cut us off.